up? It's your girl Bianca bringing you another episode of I Got You Sis Chronicles. But I'm back, and today I want to talk about a lot of different things. So I'm not really focusing in on one topic. So I'll jump around a little bit, but I just want to kind of chat with you all a little bit about some things that have been on my mind lately. First of all, have to talk about the Monica and Brandy verzuz. So I made it clear on my last episode that Monica is my boo. She is my best friend in my head, and we've been rocking since the 90s. So it's all love there, right? I love Brandy though. There was a lot more songs that I remembered that I actually liked from Brandy. Was a Moesha fan, all of those things. But I love Monica, so I was excited either way because I didn't think that it was going to happen. There was a time where they actually recently said that it wasn't going to happen, that they weren't interested in that. So it was great for me. I was very content with it. A lot of people were talking about how Monica was being shady and whatnot towards Brandy. I felt like during the first half, before the intermission, that Monica was very shady. She was a little cold. She wasn't quick to, smile and laugh with Brandy and stuff like that. So I completely agree with y'all, but I felt like she loosened up towards the middle when they got to the intermission and she released her single. And then afterwards, I felt like she was a little bit more playful after the intermission. Here's the thing, and I feel like Monica is very much like myself. If you do something to me, if something happens between us and you bopping at the mouth, saying whatever, feeding into things, making things bigger, everything else, I can't rock with you. And it's very difficult for me to be in the same space with you and feel safe with you because you want some other mess. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. If we're friends, if we're cool, that's what it is. Even if we fall out, I'm not going to be being nasty, bad-mouthing you. I'm going to remember the good things, and that's what I'm really going to talk about. They sat down prior to the verzuz and they had a chat or whatever. Brandy said that she apologized for something, so that means that she acknowledged that she was wrong about something, and and they were supposed to be moving forward. So even if somebody apologizes to you for something, now you gotta wait for a second to kind of see, like, okay, how are we moving? Like, was your apology sincere? Are we good now? And I felt like in the first half, Brandy was being too much of a friend. And what I mean by that is you don't just have a feud with somebody. You don't just talk nasty about somebody and then you apologize and you're like, ooh, wait off of me. We're besties now. Nah, it don't work like that. There's some building that has to happen. There's some bonding that has to happen. There's some things that have to happen in order for you to get that. So I felt like Brandy was trying way too hard to make it seem like they were like super duper cool or whatever, and that just wasn't the case. So that would make me feel awkward as well. But like I said, she loosened up towards the end. Brandy had her moments too where she threw little things out there as well. But like I said, I was excited that it happened. I wish they would have got up more and danced and really got into it and felt it and, made it a real vibe, made it a real party, to be able to have that moment. I had posters of them on my wall, everything. So that was big for me. I was cool with it. I would have wanted to see more energy from them. I didn't like either one of their outfits. Initially, when I looked at the outfit, I thought that those were boots and that they were thigh boots. And then she had like a little corset thing going on and then maybe like some shorts or something. So when I realized that they were pants, that's when I didn't like the outfit no more. I wasn't vibing with it, like that. But it was better than what Brandy had on. Brandy, I don't know what she had on, but I really felt like they dressed for themselves. The latest update on the Jacob Blake situation, we find out that he does, he had a pending warrant and he was handcuffed to the bed. He's no longer handcuffed to the bed. He did have his first court appearance for that situation. So from what I gathered from the situation is that he had a girl that he was intimate with and would be regularly intimate with from time to time, kind of like an off and on thing. And so whenever he would get intoxicated, these are her words, he would break into her house or come into her house and kind of mess with her. You know, maybe they would have sex or, you know, whatever. And then he would wake up sober, I guess, and then go about his business. So I think that he's done it multiple times. And then this time she called the police or whatever, and that is where the 3rd degree sexual assault charge came from. And that's not good. It's not good. But here's the thing. The situation that he was in did not warrant him losing his life. There are too many rapists, child molesters, murderers in prison for you to tell me that someone who has been accused of a crime is supposed to pay with their life. The police officer in no way, shape, or form can say whether or not someone is actually guilty of a crime. All they can do is say what they believe based off of the evidence that they have. Ted Bundy made it to prison. Dylan Roof made it to prison. And that little white boy whose name I just don't care to remember made it to prison. And he had killed multiple people. They were for sure armed. When you don't know if somebody is armed, they're dead. But if you know for a fact that they're armed, they get to make it alive. Like your de-escalation skills work all of a sudden when you have somebody who is a mass murderer, a serial killer, like all of a sudden their white ass is making it to jail. Stop playing with me. Like, no, I can't. I really can't with that. Like, I don't like that. I do not like the fact that we have to look at, well, his charges, I just don't know if I could wear a t-shirt with his face on it. Well, his charges, you know, he wasn't really that good of a person. Let me tell you something. Neither are you. Neither are you. All sins are equal. So I don't get to judge whether you're a better person than me or not, and the next person and the next person. It's great to know that somebody's a good person, but that's not our job to judge. Right is right and wrong is wrong. If the fight is about police brutality, if somebody experienced police brutality, no matter who they are, what they did, what they're going through, that's the fight, and that's what I'm going to speak to. Is it easier to speak to somebody who is a saint and who's never done anything wrong? Like, you know, Philando Castile, like, though, yeah, it is easier. But at the end of the day, the topic is police brutality, and we need to stick to police brutality. Right now, we want everybody, Black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, to have the same positive experience when it deals with law enforcement, and we want them to be handled in a way that is positive. When you do a job, it tends to numb you to certain things. And because you've seen it before, you approach everyone the same way once you begin to generalize things. I'll give you a simple example. Working in retail, when you have people come in with no receipt, no tags, whatever on their merchandise, guess what happens? When you see that next person who really might have had a mishap, you treat them just like the criminals who are boosting these items and coming back trying to get money for it. No, you have to treat every situation like a new situation and do the same due diligence every single time. And that is all we're asking for police officers to do. Do not make assumptions. Do not put your prejudice and your bias on anyone. Let everybody make it to jail that's supposed to go. And then let the judicial system do the rest. That's all we're asking. We're asking for their day in court, not their day in the coffin. Black men. Black men, yes. Okay, so I said that I would do a better job of trying to talk about the positive when it comes to black men. You know, I Got You Sis Chronicles is for everybody, okay? Like, I'm supposed to uplift everyone, right? So one of the things that I saw that I loved was, it's a show coming out. It's called They Call Me Dad, or Call Me Dad, something like that. But it is black men who are fathers, and we get to see them in a positive light. Let me tell you something. I love this, absolutely positively love it, because we need more images of black men in a positive light. We need more images of black men who are handling their business, taking care of their kids, and black men, we need to see black men that are extremely present when it comes to their children. It's interesting because a lot of times people say that women have it harder as parents than men do. I disagree. I believe we all have the same choice when it comes to parenting. But women are more likely to feel a closer attachment with the children than men are. And I think it comes from, the fact that we carry them. I think it comes from the fact that a lot of times we dream of being mothers. I think it comes from the maternal instincts, but some women can carry a child and not have any attachment, any emotional connection to that child. And there's deadbeat mothers out there. So let's be clear, it's still a choice to be a mother. It's still a choice to be present in your children's lives. It's still a choice. So it's not like it's not like men have it easier with making a choice on whether or not they want to be a parent than the woman does. It's just that women tend to put more weight on themselves to being a parent. But what I'm saying is these Instagram, social media dads, these dads that decide, today I can't do it, I'm going through it, I'm struggling, so I'll see you when I'm good. You can't do that, because the primary parent, the custodial parent, doesn't get to do that. Just because I have my kids doesn't mean I am not going to have my bouts with depression and anxiety. I still have to be a mom through that. And it's very difficult, and I don't want my kids to see that. So I have to use my village to be able to still parent. But at the end of the day, every single day, every breath I take, I'm still somebody's mama. And I still have people who are depending on me. So I think that it's very important that we see more black men allowing their children to see them struggling, allowing their children to see them being present, because it's not all about the money. I can't tell you how much money my father gave to me over the years. And I don't even want to sit and calculate. But I can tell you about the dates that we had. I can tell you about the field trips that we took. I can tell you about all the different lessons that he taught me. I can tell you about the time that he spent. It's about the quality time. It is about the quality time. They just want to see you. They want to be around you. When they ask you for things and you can't provide those things, yeah, it's disappointing initially, but they're just happy to be around you and to know you. So give your kids that love and support, and give them the memories. They're going to be grown before you know it. And what can you say? What will they be able to say about you? Create those memories and be creative. So like I said, let's give our people more positive images of our black men, because there's so many great black men out there, but there's also a lot of black men who are misguided and who might believe that they're being great parents and that they're being great dads, but they're only being better than their dad. And so that's the standard that they put themselves to. Well, my dad wasn't there, so at least or, well, my dad was always drunk and abusive, so at least I. No. Let's show them real standards for what real fathers look like, so that they can have a higher standard to try to live up to. I was floored when I heard about the passing of Chadwick Boseman. I was floored. I remember seeing the photos of him during the earlier in the quarantine where you could clearly see that he had lost a lot of weight. And honestly, anyone who could not see that he was sick in some sort of way, you're crazy. You're crazy. I'm sorry. You're crazy. I could tell that he was struggling with something when I saw that, because of the way that his cheeks were sunken in. And you just look, when you see someone who is struggling with an illness, you can tell. And they might use different excuses, just like what was that crooked preacher, Eddie Long. He lost all that weight, and he was talking about he was on like a vegan diet and everything else, and the next thing you know, he's dead. So it made sense once we find out that he's been battling cancer. It's crazy to me that he was battling cancer for 4 years. 4 years he was battling cancer. So that's crazy to me, because I remember in Black Panther, he was able to bulk up and, have like extra weight. So I definitely think that there was a high level of determination and probably some different types of diets that he was doing in order to maybe be able to, keep his strength up in the best ways that he could. But it just brings me to, Black men, we have to go to the doctor. And if you have a Black man in your life, if you're a woman watching this and you have a Black man in your life, dad, brother, cousin, significant other, close friends, whatever it may be, we got to have that conversation about going to the doctor. I've had that conversation with my husband, and I've even just went as far as making the appointments or finding everything, like as far as getting the doctor, where he needed to go, whatever. And then from there, sitting with him as he made the appointment, giving him a deadline. Like, you got to go to the doctor. So with that being said, it's important. Chadwick Boseman passed from colon cancer. And it's crazy because people don't realize that colon cancer and prostate cancer, Black men are more likely to get both of those cancers. So much contributes to the fact that Black men are more likely to get those cancers, and then they're more likely to die of those cancers. With colon cancer, 1 in 41 Black men will die of colon cancer versus white males, which is 1 in 48. 1 in 44 Black women will die from colon cancer versus 1 in 53 white women. Racism in the healthcare system definitely contributes to it. Our doctors are less likely to recommend that we get screened for colon cancer, or even just having a colonoscopy. It's recommended in males that they get a colonoscopy at the age of 50. For Black males, the recommendation is, I believe, 45. I honestly think that Black men, at least by 40. And if you know that somebody in your family has died of any type of cancer, or who has battled, not even died, but battled with any type of cancer, you might want to do 35. Because if we think about it, Chadwick would have been diagnosed at 39, and he was already at stage 3. So just think that if he would have gotten screened earlier, then he would have been able to maybe survive it, because it wasn't in the later stages. The other thing is that with African Americans, our diet, our different illnesses such as diabetes, obesity, just those different things that contribute to our health issues as a whole, a lot of times it isn't recommended for us to have these different routine checkups and routine check-ins because we already have such dire health issues. So when you go to the doctor, just think about it. When you go to the doctor and you're having a conversation with the doctor about the things that you're dealing with, if you don't have a lot to talk to the doctor about, then they begin to say, okay, well, when's the last time you had this happen? Or when's the last time you had that? Like, they start checking things off. But if you have a serious condition that they are focusing in on trying to find ways to address it or help you with your care plan, then that's what they're going to focus on. So we have to come to the doctor and request these things. Hey, I want this. Hey, I need that. And when they tell you, oh no, you should wait until this age or that age, you can say, okay, well, can you put that in my file that I requested that I get tested for this, but you stated that you recommend that I wait until this time? They're more likely to go ahead and just do it, because at the end of the day, it's not coming out of their pocket. It's coming out of yours. You got to pay for it. It's your health insurance. That brings us to another point. A lot of times we are not diagnosed with things because we have a lack of health insurance in the Black community. I was looking at a statistic. It said that in LA, African Americans are 9% of the population, but they make up 26% of the people that are uninsured. It's kind of funny to me because I remember I had a president and he wanted health care for everyone. And a lot of people say that he didn't do anything for the Black community. But if we are having issues with being insured and he wants to make sure that we get insured, then I think indirectly he was trying to do something for the Black community. I digress. I'm sorry. But no, for real though, it's like you want to make sure that you have health insurance and that you're getting checked out. And there's different programs out there where you can, like, there's different nonprofits out there that will do a income-based medical care, where you can go to your appointments and they, just kind of, they'll ask you about your income, maybe some pay stubs, and then they'll work out a plan. And then based off of the different appointments that you have, then you'll pay out of pocket like that. And it's pretty affordable. But there's different programs out there like that. And you can call your Medicaid, you can call them, and they actually have a list of resources for people who are or underinsured to be able to supplement those things. So that's something good to know if you do not have insurance, but you still have health care. A lot of men, Black men, do not want to get colonoscopies because they do not want an instrument up their anus. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I'd rather have an instrument up my anus than to be lying dead in a coffin. Make that decision. And then there's people who are like, well, if I have cancer, I'd rather just not know. If there's something that can be done for you, you got to get it done. You have so much to live for. There's so much to be done. When it comes to prostate cancer in Black men are 50% more likely to get prostate cancer. And they are 2.5 times more likely to actually die from it. One of the reasons why they are 2.5 more times likely to die from prostate cancer is because it is more likely to be found in the later stages, because they are not being screened for these things. It's not being recommended by the doctors. We're not demanding it. So it's very important that we take control of our healthcare. We stop letting people tell us what we need. We let them know what we need. And we demand it. We demand that they take care of us. Another thing is that they just don't know. They don't have enough studies to say whether or not Black men have predispositions based off of genetics that cause them to have prostate cancer in a higher rate. What they do know is they've made comparisons based on stage 1, stage 2, white male versus Black male. Black males who find prostate cancer in the earlier stages are actually more likely to respond to radiation and the treatment for the cancer than white males. So if we could just get y'all to the doctor earlier, find the cancer in stage 1 or 2, get you the radiation treatment that you need, then less of you would die from it. That's interesting. And it's important. I need y'all to go to the doctor. I need you to get your yearly physical. And I need you to ask questions. I need you to be ready when you get there. I need you to have like a notepad or use the notes in your phone and already have stuff ready to go. I need you to, when they come to you and they diagnose you with something, that you get online and you begin to research when they go out the room to go do something or whatever. And when they come back and they try to give you medications or tell you processes of treatment, I want you to already know what they're supposed to tell you and make sure that it sounds right. Because if it don't sound right, I want you to challenge it. I want you not to be afraid to demand that you are treated with respect, integrity, and like your life matters. Black men, we need you. We need you. We need you out of jail. We need you alive. We need you in our households. So we got to take care of you. So Black women, hold your men accountable. Nag them until they go to the doctor. And if you know that your man is not going to speak up for himself, you go to the appointment with him. And you make sure that they are not mistreating him. You make sure that they are not brushing anything under the rug. You stand for your man. You do what you got to do. But you keep him alive. You keep him here. You make sure he's present. All right, y'all, that's all I have for this week. The shirt I'm wearing, Queen Bee, and the tumbler that I have was made for me by one of the ladies in my wine group. I am in a wine group on Facebook, and we wine each other with gift baskets that have wine and other special gifts in it, and it's super, super fun. And this is what I came back to for my vacation, so I was really, really excited to have my little wine tumbler. And my t-shirt, I've never met her a day in my life, but she knows me with the Queen Bee and the wine glass. Like, I love it. It's awesome. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that share button, and hit that subscribe so you don't miss another episode of I Got You Sis Chronicles. And I'll see you soon.